So today we're going to be working on PowerPoint. In order to make the planner, I use PowerPoint. The first thing you want to make sure you have done is you want to go to File and you want to go to Page Setup. And you want to make sure that you have your size set up as 11.5 by 8.5. A lot of people use just regular letter paper. I use a custom because 11.5 it actually lets me go from edge to edge. I haven't played around with going up a half inch in the height yet. I'll let you guys know how that turns out. So let's say this says 11.5 by 8.5, and I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. The next thing I want to do is, this is my paper landscape. So hot dog style, for those people who use that language, hot dog style, and I want to find the center of my page. I do this in an unconventional way. I don't like having like the extra measurements on the top and the bottom, so I just use a quick and simple trick. I take a box and I take it from one edge to the other, and it'll usually snap in place. And I know that this edge right here, these two squares, are going to tell me the midpoint of that box. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to insert a line right there. I'm going to hold shift down so that this line isn't crooked or anything, and I'm going to drag it from there all the way to the top. And then that will be my midpoint line. I don't want this to be as dark, but I'm going to leave it this way until I'm done creating the project. Excuse me. I'm going to use this line until I'm done creating today's project. The first thing I want to do is make a couple of these. I'm going to duplicate. I'll do 4 because there's only a few different kinds of sheets that we'll be using for this planner. It's very easy. The first thing you want to know is that if this is the outside of your booklet, this is the back cover and this is the front cover. Think about if you folded that page in half, this will actually be the front cover and this will be the back cover. So just keep that in mind. I know a lot of people want to go right here and start working here because that's just what we're used to. But for this situation, we're going to actually go and put our title right here. And for this book, I just called it my temp planner, and you can do whatever you want to the front cover. Of course, be as creative as you want to be, and as personalized as you want to be. I personally didn't do any of those things because I wanted to be able to share these with people if someone needed one. I wanted to be able to give it to them. And then my go-to font is AG 180 Days. I will put the link in the description box below as to where I got this font from. And I love AG fonts because you pay for the font, you do buy it, and it's fairly reasonably priced, but you do not have to pay for, like, if you're using it to sell things. So if you're on Teachers Pay Teachers, you don't have to like keep buying licenses. So I enjoy fonts like that. So here I have my temp planner. You can center this if you want. I'll just put it halfway through the page. You can just add whatever you want. You can do some flowers, whatever your style is. You can add anything on the outside, and by all means, you can use a different font. The back, I didn't have anything on the back, but if you want to, you can go ahead and add something on the back cover. Remember, this is going to be the outside of your book. So my temp planner. And then my back cover is just blank. You can add like an inspirational quote. I think that would be nice. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to leave that blank. So when I'm done the front cover, the next thing I want to do is the inside cover. So this is like the thing that's going to be directly in back of this. And I'm going to do the inside cover so that on the inside there are notes pages. So I'm just going to go ahead and double click to get a text box. And I'm just going to write notes. And the font that I use for the inside of my book, it wasn't that. I don't think I have that font downloaded on this computer. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to use, I want something nice and cursive-y. Let's do this. PB Coffee Makes Me Smile. And another font that I used, I'll also link this in the description box. Another font where you can just purchase the font and you don't have to buy extra licenses. I'm going to make this 18-point font because I want it to be large, but I don't want it to be too large. And then I'm going to go ahead and insert some lines. I do this easily, sorry about that, by just double clicking and holding shift and then my hyphen. This is basically a long underscore. Please do not judge me. This is how I've been creating lines since forever, and I'm going to just use that as like my base, and I'm going to move that over. I like that my lines are spaced 16-point font, so you always space my lines at 16. It gives me enough space to write. It's not too thick, it's not too thin. It reminds me of almost like a college rule paper. And I'm just going to select a section of this to copy and just Control V until it fills up the page. And I like that. I'm going to add another layer, and then I'm going to take off maybe 2 full lines. And I like the way that looks. It looks nice and centered. So I'm going to go ahead and copy, select all of this, and then duplicate it because I want it to be on the back inside cover as well. Actually going to move everything over a little bit more to the edge. Can you see? Not that far over. About right there is fine. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to do the same thing. Moving everything over a little closer to the edge and to the center. Okay. And so now that's my notes page. So what it will look like is when you open this book, this will be on the inside. So this will be the outside cover, and then the first page you'll see is the notes page. Another thing you want to keep in mind is that if your printer prints normally on portrait style paper, you're going to want to flip this. So I do that by selecting the entire page, and then I want to group this before I flip it, and I'll show you why in just a second. And I'm gonna group this and then flip it. The proportions remain the same, everything flips together. I'm going to undo this. If I just select all, if I just grab everything and try to flip it like this, this is what happens. Not what I want at all, right? So it's important to make sure you're grouping things before you flip them. So I'm going to just group them and then flip them around. This is so that when I print it, it's not upside down. If you print this on a regular printer, you have to adjust the settings. Instead of doing that, I just flip every other page. Okay, so these are our first 2 pages of our planner, which were pretty easy to make. And then the last, there's only, like I said, there's only a few styles of pages that we need. The last style of page that we need is going to be the actual planning part of it. I'm going to make one more page of notes. And this, since this is going to be the front page, I'm just going to flip this back the correct way. And then I'm going to start designing my planner. Now, I knew for myself as a teacher, my week starts on Monday. And this may not be true to everyone, so that's why I want to give you guys the opportunity to make your own, design your own planner. So my week starts on Monday, and I knew that I wanted to make a planner. And you can personalize this any way you want to. I knew that I wanted to make a planner so that I can just write the days in. I don't need it to already have set in days, because when I'm not using it, I don't want it to go to waste. So what I did was I added a little box here, and I made it say week of. And in this little box, I'm just going to make that my AG 180 days, and I'm going to make that, I'll leave it at 16.5. And then I'm just going to make a box. I'm going to insert a regular box to put that, and I'm going to make sure that box is, I'm going to make sure that box is white, and I'm going to make sure that box has a black thick outline. And you see my week of went to the back. I'm going to bring that to the front, but more importantly, I'm going to fill that week of with white, and you'll see the kind of effect that it gives it. I'm gonna move it over slightly. The effect that it gives is like the box is contorting itself to fit the week of, when actually the week of is just over the box. No, I didn't really do any extra work. I didn't make any extra line work. So I like this little trick, this little tip. It makes everything style a lot better. So I'm going to move that over just a tad bit. And so the purpose of this is just you put the week that you're starting off the day with. And so say if I'm starting off the day, I will put like July, whatever it is, and then I would type that week here, and then under here is where we're going to put all of our information in terms of all of our weeks, our days of the week, not weeks. So to do that, I also inserted another. You can also just duplicate this. And I don't want this to be as long because I want to fit at least 3 on each page. And keep in mind, it looks a lot smaller than it currently is. So don't think that it's going to be that tiny when you print it out, because it's not. I'm going to bring these down. I'm going to take this down to about 1/3 of the page. About 2/3 of the page. Maybe 3/4 of the page, actually. And I'm going to just look at the size of these, and to do that I just space them out, just a little bit of space between, and see if that's how I want them. I notice I have a bunch of space here, so I'm going to spread the box a little bit more. And I know it's a better way to do this. If you know a better way of doing this, please put it in the comments below, and I will definitely look at it, because there's a better way of doing this. I just stretched that out a little bit more, and I'm going to do the same thing that I just did, making these boxes, spacing them out. Still a lot more space, so I'm going to delete these again. And I know there's a mathematical way to do this, but not today. Not today. I'm going to space these out. Boom, boom. And I like the way that looks. So these are my 3. These are going to be my Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday boxes. I'm going to bring them down slightly because I'm going to do the same situation that I did with the week of. I'm going to put the names of these days on the top. So I'm just leaving these 2 here. I am going to delete those and just copy and paste to make it for easier transitions. I'm going to put Monday. And you see how it floats inside that line. I'm going to bring it up just a tad bit. Make sure it's centered. Bring it up. And I'm going to do the same thing for the rest of my days of the week. Make sure that's centered though. And then another thing is making sure it's actually centered. Going into home and then making sure it's centered, because it may look weird that way. Okay, so that's Monday, and what I'm also going to do is add some lines in here, and you guys already know my trick of adding lines. Make a long underscore, size the box And again, this is an 18-point font. I'm going to have it with a little bit of background on each. I'm going to bring this down to 16-point font, and I'm actually going to change this color so that these lines aren't as dark. I'm going to change this color to maybe like a charcoal gray, and I'm going to just select a big chunk of this and copy, Command C, and then Command V, paste as many of these as possible. And that looks good, so I'm going to take out a couple of these just so that it's not filling all the way to the edge. And I like this. I'm going to center it a little bit better, which I don't like. Alright, and here we go. So on my day, I get to put all my little small notes here. Remember, this is just a small planner. Put anything that you need to do on Monday or anything you need to remember for Monday right in this little box. And I'm going to go ahead and group this so that I can copy and paste it and do the rest of my days. So that's grouped. I'm going to use duplicate, and I am going to lay that on top of that original. And instead of writing Monday, I'm going to go inside here and put Tuesday, making sure that everything still looks good. And I'm going to delete that, and I'm going to duplicate this one more time and put it over here. And instead of, I like how you can see the spacing down here, to make sure everything is just evenly spaced. It'll usually like snap in place. Let me see. Here we go. And then I'm going to put, I like to have a little fun with this, so instead of Wednesday, I put hump day. Hump day. And then it helps because Wednesday is so daggone long to write, not the actual day to write in. So now I have Monday, Tuesday, hump day, and I'm going to go ahead and just copy these, control and copy these, duplicate these, and then I'm going to put these on the edge, and I should know when it's as far away from the edge as the other. Boom. And then I'm just going to go ahead and type in here Thursday, Friday, and I like to put a little extra, and weekend, put a little exclamation point there. And you can go even farther to make your weekend into Saturday and Sunday. The way I would do that is just typing in set, and then halfway through typing in sun. I can show you what that looks like actually. So I would do set, of course not in that font. Now I would actually take this line out, or do that Saturday, and then same thing halfway through about here. I would do, just click in there, go sun, and then of course change that font, Sunday, and then enter to get to the next line. And then of course clean up these two extra lines that were created, Saturday and Sunday. So this is basically the format of the planner. And then you want to go ahead, what I like to do is add a place for notes and a place for to do on each week. So I'm going to do that by, again, taking another one of these boxes, and I'm going to fill that space. I'm going to do the same thing. Actually, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to just copy and paste it. I'm going to bring this down a little bit because I do want my floating title. I'm going to still go to the week of and duplicate that. And instead of putting, I'm going to put it off to the right side because this is on the left and this is in the center. and I'm going to call this Get It Done. And you can do anything. You can play around with this. Have fun with it. Get It Done is going to be my to-do list. And I'm also going to put actually 2 rows of lines. And you can also add in what do they call, little boxes to do check marks, since this is a to-do list. I'm going to make this kind of halfway. Go Command C, Command V, and then I'm going to size this down to my 16-point font. And you can insert those boxes however you want to do. Also, quick tip, when you are selecting and copy and pasting, you see how this little space is here? Try not to get that space. That's why I never really go from the beginning to the end. I take like a section, because it'll always have that little space at the end, and it'll throw you off when you're pasting. So I'm going to have that. I'm going to just take out a few lines of this. Actually, I'm going to leave that last line and just move this up a little bit. Might widen it a little bit too. Good. And then I'm going to add more of this to that line. And I'm going to duplicate that. Get it done. And so now I can put all of mine. I can actually make this a little bit. And bring this down just a smidge. And bring these text boxes down a smidge as well. And I'm going to just duplicate this and put it over here, and this is just going to be my notes, and I'm going to make sure that everything is lined up, and I'm going to actually take this and put it on this side just to give it a nice little effect. And this is just going to be my notes. Sorry about that. And there you have it. This is our planner. It is done. And you can add little knickknacks if you want, like if you want to add like something here or like decorative border, go ahead, be my guest, do all those things, whatever makes you happy. Remember, this is yours, and you want something that you enjoy looking at, something that is not cluttered, and something that is simple enough for you and complex enough for you. And whatever works for you, this is yours. I'm going to do is group all of this together, since that is done. And remember how I told you every other page will be turned upside down. So these are the first 2 pieces of paper. So this will be on one paper, these 2 slides will be on one paper, then these 2 slides will be on one paper. Think of it, this is the front, this is the back, this is the front, this is the back. I'm going to go ahead and make another copy of this. But this, since this is the front, the back has to be upside down. So I'm going to go ahead and select that big chunk that we grouped together and turn that upside down. And because we did everything the way we were supposed to, the proportions are still in the same way. And then I'm going to leave that, but then I'm going to duplicate one more slide, and then I'm going to turn this second one upside down. So I do want to say that these 1, 2, 3, 4, these are the first 4 slides that you definitely need in this order. These 2, you can make as many copies as you want, depending on how many pages you want in your book. So remember, these first 4, you want to keep these the same, and then these 2, you can make as many copies as you want. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please let me know if you made any changes to the planner, if you tried it out. Let me know how it worked for you, or if you have any suggestions, please definitely send it to me in the comments box. Can you also, when you print, this says no printer selected because this computer doesn't have a printer set up yet. When you print this, it'll print front and back. Make sure you have that front and back on. If not, none of this will work. So when you print this front and back, you're just going to use your regular printer settings, and it'll print out in a way that you can, all you have to do is put it in the pile, staple it, tie it, do whatever you're going to do to it, and it's done. It's ready to go. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Let me know what you think in the comments below. See you guys next time. Bye.